So I understand you are here because you were forced to come here. I get that. Anything else? Anything you know what's going to happen? Why am I here? What would you get out of this? Anyone? Nobody? Something about mental health. Okay, fair enough. Anybody else? So, yeah, you are right. Something about mental health. But let me ask, what is mental health? Anyone? I know a lot of you have a lot of different thoughts about what mental wellness essentially means, but can anyone say it out loud? Anyone? It's a difficult topic to talk about, or so we think, right? It's not something that we readily will come up and say, hey, mental wellness ka matlab hota hai, I feel stressed. It means I get sad. It means I feel lonely. It means at times I can't function. It means at times I just don't know what to do. It means at times I feel like nothing is making sense in the world. It's all difficult things to talk about, right? Exactly. What we are going to try and do here is try to simplify this world of mental health and make it easier for everyone to talk. So one side of mental wellness was what I just said. It's a slightly difficult topic to talk about. But then, on the other side, it's a very difficult topic to talk about when we start thinking about mental disorders. Right? Mental disorders are looked upon in Bollywood as this mother who just doesn't know what's going on in life and sits all day staring at the roof. Right? Or that crazy, side character, comedy character who gets crazy and he just runs on the street tearing his clothes. Right? That's mental health disorder. That is what makes it very difficult to talk about. Fair enough? So how many of you agree with that? Okay. Please in this workshop, please raise your hand, please talk, please participate and engage. If you are here forcibly, I get that. But even forcibly, if you are here for the next some time, why not make most use of it? See if something, let's play a game. Right? See if something comes out for you. If something that you are able to get out of. Otherwise, you anyway need to be here for the next some time while I'm talking. So, see if you can. Okay? What I promise you is, this essentially is a safe space. You understand what is the concept of safe space? So, whatever you say is said here in a safe space with no judgment. Okay? Just hearing what you want to say. So, when we think about mental health disorders, we usually think about this Bollywood mein maa hoti hai jo keeps staring at the roof, or we think about this side actor who tears his clothes and runs on the street. That's not the kind of mental health that we are going to talk about today. While that is a relevant portion of mental health, but that is not where most of us are. Let me ask, how many of us have some sort of mental health issues? How many of us? No one. Exactly. Now let me ask, how many of us get sad every once in a while? Sad. Simply, just get sad. Okay? How many of us get lonely every once in a while? It doesn't matter whether we are in the middle of a class, it doesn't matter whether we are in the middle of a family, but we get lonely every once in a while. How many of us have stress in our lives? Everyone? You don't have any stress? You don't have any stress in life? You must be the first person that I see like that. So, guys, everyone, as I said earlier, let's talk here. When I ask, Please feel free to answer, please feel free to interact, please feel free to give your suggestion, but don't talk to each other in the middle. Okay? So this is what is very interesting about mental health. We all say we don't have mental health issues, but we all have this increasing amount, and I'm saying increasing because in the last few years it has gone through the roof. We all have increasing amount of sadness, we all have increasing amount of unhappiness, we all have increasing amount of loneliness, and we all have increasing amount of stress in our lives. In your age, okay, you guys are between the ages of 13 to 17. Nobody younger than 13, nobody older than 17. Okay, so this is, probably the most defining portion of an individual's life. This is when you start to understand what it means to be there. This is when most of you start to realize or start to ponder or start to think about what you are going to do with the remainder of your life. क्या कोर्स लेना है, क्या पढ़ाई करनी है, किस करियर में जाना है, all of those are thoughts that you all go through, and all of those are thoughts that give you stress. And above that stress, everything around you, everything, whether it is your friend buying a new toy, or whether it is something else, whether it is your body type and how you are, whether it is various hormonal and other changes that are happening in your life, whether it is pressure of how you are able to perform in your academics, or for that matter in other portions, in extracurriculars, in sports and other things, and everything else. It's all a matter of grave concern for everybody, right? Anybody disagrees with that? It's a matter of grave concern for everyone. And this is what gives you stress. Now let me ask a basic question. How about I tell you that we can do something that will reduce your stress and provide better mental wellness to you? How many of you think, okay, and hear this carefully, how many of you think that you will be able to improve your performance by 40-50% if we do that? Anyone? Will be able to improve their performance by 40-50% across the board if they are able to have better mental health. How about 25%? 50% people think they will be able to do it 25%. How about 10%? So now think about it. A lot of you think that if you are given appropriate mental health tools, if you are able to get an environment where you have lesser amount of stress for yourself, you will be able to improve your performance by 25%. Is there anything else that you know? Any tuition, any course, any program, anything else that you know in your life that will give you that? Anything else? That's the power of mental health. So what we are talking about is not really talking about you in terms of how many of you have mental health disorders. Okay? There is no real definition of a mental health disorder if you look at it that way. What we are talking about is what needs to happen such that you have better mental health, and that better mental health straight away converts into better proficiency, better efficiency, better productivity, a more happier environment, and at the end of the day, from an academic standpoint, simply better grades for you. So, let me ask a question. How many of you have ever done something on your mental health? Do you do anything for your mental health? Anyone? Nobody? Something? Think harder. Yes? Meditation. Okay, that's a great answer. Anybody else? How many of you do meditation? Okay. Anything else? Anything other than meditation that somebody does for their mental health? Sorry? Yoga. Somebody said yoga? Okay. How many people do yoga? Okay. Anything else? Sorry? Your hobbies. do something which is a hobby for you, which is something that you enjoy, something that you are interested in, something that you engage with. Everybody has a hobby and everybody kind of does something in that. Usually, this is the frame in how people look at mental health. So I have asked this question, have you ever worked on your mental health, to nearly 25,000 people so far. Okay? 25,000 people. So I have a great subset of people that I have asked this question of. Nearly 40% of those people say they have never done anything on their mental health. Nearly 40% people say they have never done anything on their mental health. Another 40 to 45% of students, or another 40 to 45% of people across say they have done something. They practice one activity. Some will say yoga, some will say meditation, some will say pursue a hobby, some will say some kind of performing art, some will say I listen to music, I dance, I go to the gym, I just do running, I just go for a walk, I do meditation and whatever else. A very small percentage of people tell me that they have taken or sought active mental health help through some expert. Whether that expert is a counselor, whether that expert is a therapist, in some cases, whether that expert is a psychiatrist. Let me ask the question in a slightly different way. Okay, let me first ask, how many of you know what a thought experiment is? Nobody? Okay. So a thought experiment is where I give you a hypothesis. Okay? A thought. Okay? And you stay with that thought. Think about it. I am not asking you to believe it as true, and I am not asking you to believe it as false. I am saying for a while, just stay with the thought and evaluate in your head and try to find reasons why it will be true or reasons why it will be false. Can we all do that? Will you guys participate in this with me? So how about I say, while most of you said you don't do anything for your mental health, and some of you said we do something, we participate in a hobby, we do yoga, we do meditation, while you say that, in actual reality, all of you, and I'm not talking about students in the age group of 13 to 17, I am saying all of you in this group, the students, the teachers, us, and everybody else around, your parents, your family, and everyone, we spend more than 16 hours a day, every day, working on our mental health. What if I say every action that you do in your life, every action, and every decision that you make in your life is driven by your mental health? Again, I don't want you to say yes or no. I want you to think about it. Reasons why it is true and reasons why it is not true. Every action that you do, let me explain and explore it further. Every action that you do, your action to eat or your action to not eat, your action to study or your action to not study, your action to go somewhere or your action to not go somewhere, your action to sleep or your action to not sleep, your action to watch something, on Netflix or Amazon or YouTube or whatever, or your action to not, your action to pursue a hobby or your action to not. Every action that you do in your life and every decision that you make in your life, again, all of these are decisions, right? You decide whether you want to study, you decide whether you want to go out, you decide whether you want to meet a friend. Every action and every decision in every individual's life is driven by mental health. Anyone that will dispute that it is wrong? I've had people dispute. Most agree. There are a small fraction that dispute. Anybody here that thinks what I'm saying is wrong? Are you able to consider this? Every action. So let me, before I go ahead with this, let me say for some of you who are looking at me weird, I have a hormone missing in my body because of which I don't feel the cold. Okay? मुझे ठंड नहीं लगती है. So those of you who are looking at me saying, who is this crazy guy wearing a t-shirt? मुझे ठंड नहीं लगती है. Okay? So कभी नहीं सकता. I don't know, maybe I will go to the mountains and I might need a sweater one day, but in Delhi cold, I don't need a sweater. I am like this, t-shirt and jeans, 12 months in a year. Okay, so now let's get back. Every action that you take in your life and every decision that you make in your life is driven by your mentality. Try to think about whatever you have done today since morning or maybe yesterday. I don't want you to think about your life. No, you wouldn't remember and you wouldn't be able to relate. I simply want you to think about what you did yesterday and what you have done so far today. Everything. And think about, was that really done in some way, shape or form to optimize your mental health? To seek happiness, to seek peace of mind. Everything. कल कितने लोग हैं जिन्होंने घर का खाना देख के बोला था ये तो बेकार है, नहीं खाएंगे, बाहर पे ऑर्डर करेंगे. Right? Some of you are raising your hands like this, किसी को दिखे ना, some here and some here. Okay. कल कितने लोग हैं जो रात को सोने के टाइम पे नेटफ्लिक्स देख रहे थे या फिर doing some other binge watching or something else? I was also doing that. Nothing against that. कितने लोग हैं जो कल स्कूल से घर जाके अपने किसी फ्रेंड से मिलने गए? कितने लोग हैं जिन्होंने कुछ और कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग सा कुछ किया स्कूल में या स्कूल के बाद? फुटबॉल खेल, सॉरी So you guys get the picture? Every action that you take in your life and every decision that you make in your life is driven primarily by your mental health. The question is, why have you never thought of it before? Not just that. The question is, why never anybody told you this before? You have never heard this before, right? You have never looked at this paradigm. किसी ने भी नहीं किया ना? And by the way, it's not just you. I do workshops. I have literally done workshops for senior citizens, and they have never thought about their life this way. For them also, mental health means I do yoga, I do meditation, I listen to music, I sometimes do this, I sometimes do this. I travel, or I write a diary, or whatever else. But nobody ever looked at mental health this way. It in itself is one of the most transformational positions that people get to. So, from today onwards, in everything that you do around you, start looking at it in terms of your mental health. Let me add clarity to it. Because some of you right now are sitting and saying, but yeah, मेरा तो स्कूल आने का मन नहीं था. I get that. But still you come to school. So now think harder. How does coming to school impact your mental health? If you do this, I can assure you to do it because it is possible. So now think harder. And this is at the core of solving a lot of mental health issues for everyone. So you have picked up the absolute right point. Tell me now, why do you come to school? You come to school because it makes your parents happy. Okay? That's a great answer. Now what happens when your parents are happy? डांटनी पड़ती. So mental health के 5 adjectives होते हैं. Okay? And the terminology that I give you is my terminology. You won't get it in books. Mental health के 5 adjectives होते हैं. 3 adjectives के बारे में मैंने अभी बात किया था. 3 adjectives के बारे में मैंने अभी बात किया था. Sadness, loneliness and stress. You do everything in your life to reduce sadness, loneliness and stress. Not going coming to school and listening to what your parents have to do is a huge cause of stress. So, in some ways you do it because it helps you keep your stress level reduced. Second, whatever you do in your life is done for the purposes of increasing either your happiness or your peace of mind. So now you think, when you come to school, are you able to increase your happiness? Maybe because your parents are not on your throat all the time. Are you able to improve and increase your peace of mind? That's the answer. Now the only exception that I would say is sometimes we do things because they are for a longer term happiness or a longer term peace of mind. Sometimes we practice for things. Sometimes we learn and we get educated. Sometimes we go out and we join academies or we practice or we do something because we are preparing for whatever else will come up. Even that, in a longer term perspective, is simply optimizing your mental health. Make sense? So, have we established that every action that you take in your life and every decision that you make in your life is driven by your mental health? Perfect. Now, the challenge is, why we say that? Okay? Why we say every action and every decision is driven by mental health? That doesn't mean you start living in this world and now there will be no sadness, now there will be no loneliness, and now there will be no stress. Sadness, loneliness, and stress will still come. Right? Even though you will do whatever to optimize your mental health, but your grades will be what your grades will be. Your friends will be what your friends will be. Right? Everything else will be what everything else will be. Your environment will be what your environment will be. Your growing up will be what it will be. So there will always be reasons for unhappiness. Always be reasons for stress. Right? Now, the reason people don't look at this framework for mental health is they lack the vocabulary, the tools, and a framework for mental health. So, the question is, what does vocabulary mean? Vocabulary means simply language. So, when we talked about this, what I call as the 16-hour theory, which is every action and every decision in your life is driven by mental health, that for me is the starting point of mental health vocabulary. When we talked about simplifying mental health in 5 adjectives, that's the next step towards the mental health vocabulary. Okay? So the first part that people require is the vocabulary. The second part, while we will all start living in this 16-hour theory, we will still need tools to feel better. We will still need tools when we get stressed. We will still need tools when we are unhappy or when we are sad or when we are lonely. So the second thing that you require are tools. The third thing that you require is a framework around it. Okay? Some kind of a solution, some kind of a capability that can help you manage it out. That is where we come into the picture. Okay? So let me now introduce what we do. See, most of the times, whenever you are looking at mental health help, you are not able to get help. Because whenever you will talk about your mental health, which is why when I initially asked, what is mental health, nobody said anything. Because it is taboo. People will frown upon you. People will look down upon you. People will misjudge you or judge you. People will trivialize whatever issues you are having. Kitni bari hota na, you will go in and say, "Arey, mere ko, I'm not able to perform or I'm not able to do X." And your parents, your teachers, or somebody will say, "Arey, ye to important hai." You will simply grow out of it. Right? It happens with all of us. Issues that we think are very important in our lives, for others, are simply trivialized, are simply unimportant. So, what you require is essentially a solution. Something where in a safe, where in a non-judgmental environment, where in a place that you have the various tools that you may require for mental health are available and you are able to use them. My promise to you and my challenge to you is if you are able to get better mental health help, you will be able to perform better. You will be able to reduce your stress and you will be able to be more peaceful and more happy in life. Think about this. What I am saying is, number one, you will be able to perform better. How many of you want to perform better? Everyone, right? Number two, you will be able to reduce your stress levels. How many want to reduce their stress levels? Everyone, right? You will be able to be more peaceful and be more happy about yourself. I am not changing anything in your life, by the way. I am not changing any circumstance in your life. But still, I am giving you a mental framework such that you will perform better, you will have lesser stress, you will be happier, and you will have better peace of mind. That's amazing powerful, right? So let me do an activity. Can I ask all of you to just follow me in, 4 short breaths? What I want all of you to do, okay? When I say, close your eyes, take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it, and then take it out from your mouth. Can everybody do that? Yes, sir. Perfect. And we will do this 4 times. Okay? Can everybody do it? Yes. Great. So, please repeat procedure for the kids. Okay. So, close your eyes when I say. Inhale through your nose. So, hold, and then exhale through your mouth. Just that. Nothing else. But I want everyone to close their eyes when they do that. Okay? So, close your eyes. Inhale through the nose. Hold. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Hold. Keep your eyes closed. Exhale through the mouth. Once more. Inhale through the nose. Hold. Exhale through the mouth. Last time. Inhale through the nose. Hold. Hold for a little bit longer. And exhale through the mouth. Now, very slowly open your eyes. Let me ask one question. How many of you, when you open your eyes, were blank? Simply blank. पहले चलो ना बड़ा स्ट्रेस था, बड़ा सारा प्रॉब्लम था, ये कौन है, क्या बोल रहे हैं, यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है, साफ वाला क्या कर रहा है, कुछ वाला क्या कर रहा है, there was so many things going on. How many of you open your eyes and you were just blank for a few seconds? I'm not saying now you are blank, but just for a few seconds. So most of the ones that had their eyes closed were blank. Right? How amazing that feeling of being in a blanket. That is what mental wellness health is. I just wanted to give you a demonstration of how easy, how effective it can be to get mental health. Again, I'm not talking about mental health disorders. I'm talking about sadness, loneliness, and stress that you have in life. It can really be that easy. I'm not saying taking long breaths will work on that. And I'm not even saying that will be the solution to your problems. But it could be a solution that momentarily gives you that peace, takes away that stress. So, remember I was talking about giving the vocabulary, the tools and the framework? The tools that people need to get mental health help is number one, self-help tools. Self-help tools are simply tools that you can use by yourself. Understand? Simply tools that you can use by yourself. The breathing exercise that we just did is a great self-help tool. Your ability to write a diary for yourself that you don't show to everybody is great self-help tool. Just sitting somewhere listening to music that you enjoy, great self-help tool. Right? Traveling somewhere where you want to have more happiness, more peace of mind, great self-help tool. Ability to track your mood on a regular basis and then see and evaluate why you are feeling bad or good at a certain point of time. Let me give an example. All of you have an aunt that you hate. हर किसी का कोई तो बुआ चाची मामी ताई somebody कोई तो होता है सबके पास सबके घर में सबके पास होता है somebody. I'm not talking about the ones that you love. I'm simply talking about the one that you don't like. Assuming guys again, let's stop here.
Listen carefully.
Assuming that aunt visits you, or you are forcibly, just like you are forcibly made to sit here, you are forcibly made to visit her for a few days. And you are tracking your mood, writing somewhere on a daily basis. Okay? You are tracking and writing your mood on a daily basis on a trip that you took or your aunt that came over, the one that you really dislike. And at the end of that, at the end of the month, you go back and you look at your mood through the month and you realize those 4 days you were actually not unhappy. You were actually fairly happy. Then you got a question, do I really hate that aunt? Is she really that bad? And the other way around as well. You meet somebody or you do something where you thought you will be very happy, very lively, have amazing amount of peace of mind. And then you look back and you say, well, that time I wasn't really that happy. I wasn't feeling happy. Right? So stuff like this is what we call as self-help tools. Ability to be able to screen yourself. Do you have additional amount of anxiety? Do you have additional amount of insomnia? Do you have additional amount of any other challenge? Social anxiety, or anything else? Screening and assessment. All of these are capabilities that we call as self-help tools. Again, tools that you can use by yourself without the involvement of any other human being. The second part is what we call as community support tools. Community support tools means tools where community participates. The challenge is people judge you. People misuse the information that you share. Talking about mental health is taboo. So how will you get mental health support through community? This is where what we have done is we have created a platform where we have put together a bunch of self-help tools, community support, as well as the third one, which is expert services. So community support essentially means we have a support group for anxiety, a support group for depression, a support group for unhappiness, a support group for menstrual issues, a support group for teenage issues, a support group for work-life balance, a support group for career issues, and so on and so forth, and keep going on and on and on. And you in an anonymous mode. Okay? So what is your biggest challenge? Your biggest challenge is, I can't talk about my mental health because nobody will understand. And they will judge me. So I'm saying, ability to talk about your mental health in an anonymous manner. So nobody knows who you are. You are simply able to ask whatever is going on in your head, share whatever challenges you have, and then seek whatever help you may require. Sometimes even give help. So you would have had a certain challenge and you would have done something to resolve that, or got some help, and be able to simply share that. That is what we call as community support. Expert services is, let me ask, how many of you every once in a while get into a situation where you just can't function properly? Anyone just can't function properly? पढ़ाई भी नहीं हो रही है, घर पे भी मन नहीं लग रहा है, पेरेंट्स भी बोल रहे हैं क्या कर रहे हो, टीचर्स भी पूछ रहे हैं भैया तुम्हें क्या हुआ? A lot of us. A lot of us. Let me say, it happens to all of us. Everyone in this room or everyone not in this room, every once in a while gets into situations when they just can't function. Now, either through what I was calling as self-help tools or what I was calling as community support tools, you are able to get help. So you are able to get back. Or in some specific cases, you may require an external expert's help. So what we also do, in addition to providing you with self-help tools and in addition to providing you with community support tools, we also provide you expert services through psychiatrists, through psychologists, through counselor or through other experts who may be able to help you. Okay? Last, and I don't want to talk about this too much, sometimes when you go to these experts, the experts would say you require pharma neurointervention. Pharma neurointervention का मतलब medical. Okay? Two things. Number one, taking a mental health medicine is not really a bad thing. It's like you have fever and you need to take a medicine for fever. You know, somebody in your family may have a sugar, diabetes problem and they need to take insulin. Or somebody has a blood pressure problem and they need to take a blood pressure medicine. So, number one, taking a mental health medicine is not bad. Number two, please do not take a mental health medicine unless you absolutely have to. Okay? Both are true. One, it is not wrong if you need to. Okay? It makes you feel better about yourself. It makes you get more effective. By all means, please do. On the other side, unless you absolutely have to, do not take medicinal intervention. हमारे देश का ना प्रॉब्लम है. हमारे देश का प्रॉब्लम है. सबसे पहले तो it's taboo. You should not talk about your mental health. But then there will be a point of time where somebody will be very ineffective and will keep complaining about sadness, loneliness, stress, or something else going on with them. Parents क्या करते हैं? Parents and for that matter everybody else, they will take a child to a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist will give them a pill and that becomes ineffective at times. Okay? So ensure that you require medicinal help before you take any medicinal help. Next. So as I was saying, what we have done is we have created a platform. The name of our platform is Solh. S-O-L-H. Does anybody know what is the meaning of soul? Not S-O-U-L, S-O-L-H. Nobody? So soul is an Arabic word that means making peace. This is what I tell my American friends. That it's an Arabic word that means making peace. And then I go to Middle East. And they ask me, what is soul? And I say, it's not soul, it's salah. Okay? It's an Arabic word that means making peace. That's what I tell my friends in Middle East. And then I come to India and I say, the name is not soul and the name is not salah. The name is sulah. It's a Hindi word that means making peace. And that's what it is there for. Sulah. Usually you use sulah for an agreement between two people. Right? Sulah is between two people. We use sulah as peace between you and you. So peace between what you are feeling and what your environment is. Peace between what you need and what you have. Fair enough? So, what I want you guys to do is the following three things. Number one, start thinking about everything that happens around you in the context of what we mention as the 16-hour schedule. Every action, every decision leads to your mental health. Okay? Number two, start looking at and start identifying points of time when you are ineffective, when you are less productive, when you think you require something, when you think some intervention may help you, when you think you are overly anxious, overly sad, overly lonely or overly stressed. बहुत बारी ऐसा होता है that this loneliness, sadness and stress can be explained because of certain external circumstances. Many a times, does it happen with some of you that you wake up one day and you are overly excited and happy in life and wake up the next day and you are just sad? Nothing in your external circumstances has changed, right? Life में कुछ नहीं बदला. You have the same parents, the same family, the same school, the same grades, and everything else is the same. Just that you wake up one day and you are happy, and you wake up the next day and you are sad. So I'm saying, identify points in time when you are overly, not just sad, lonely, stressed, that's normal stage of life, but when you are overly sad, overly lonely, overly stressed, or overly anxious. And at that point of time, think about the kind of help that you require. So the third thing that I want you to do is to go through the application the platform that I'm mentioning. We have it available on both the Android environment as well as the iOS environment. So everybody here does e-learning, so I'm assuming everybody has a smartphone, right? Not in school, at home, but everybody has a smartphone. So download the app. It is called as Solh, S-O-L-H. Solh Wellness is the name of our organization. What we are trying to do is we are trying to empower each and every one of you, and not just you, each and every one of your teachers and your parents and everyone around you. We are trying to empower them with the tools and solutions that they will require for your mental health. So, one, follow the 16-hour theory. Start looking at life that way. Number two, identify points in time when you require help, and wherever you can, whether it is through breathing, whether it is through participating in some interest or hobby, or whether it is through other activities that you would do, try to get help. And wherever you require anything more, use the platform. Okay? Simply use the platform, take whatever help you could get. And as I said, the platform is self-help tools, community support tools, and expert services. So let me stop and let me take questions. And I do understand it is very difficult in this kind of a gathering to talk about your mental health. So some of you may actually have a situation where the problem is not with you, but the problem is with your friend or with somebody else. In some cases, even if the problem is with you or you need some help, just ask by saying, my friend is going through this, what do I do? Okay? So, questions. Even if you are not able to ask questions right now, either you can say right after this workshop, we'll be here for a little while and we will be able to help or answer anything, or you can simply come to the platform and ask your query there. One of the amazing things that we have done, which people are using very effectively, is when you go to the platform, the first capability on the platform is what we call as Talk Now. Talk Now is simply, you download the platform, you go there, and if you are feeling overwhelmed with emotions right now, just click and you will be connected to a counselor. Again, it is completely anonymous, nobody knows about it, and you are able to get help. And when I say it is anonymous, I mean it. Okay? We know we are talking about mental health, so there is absolutely no way in the world. Whatever you do there is safe, is secure, and is never shared with anybody. Okay? So, let me ask again. Anybody has any questions, any queries, anything that they would want to know?
Anything that you want to ask about mental health? You heard so long. Yes. Any kind of inhibition that you might have, anything that you want clarification on? Come on, children. Yes.
Anything that I said that you agree with or that you disagree with? Any challenges that you have? Anything that makes you overly stressed?
Are you stressed? Yes?
Well,
Share with sir.
every once in a while is of course stressed. So, anyone wants to ask anything? As I said, I completely understand that it is difficult to talk about your mental health in such setups. So it is fine if you don't feel comfortable with that right now. As I said, you can come to the platform or you can simply, stay back after this and ask anything that you want to know. But let me ask again, is there anything that anyone wants to ask that they think might be useful for other people in this room? So, how many of you will go and forget about this workshop and not do anything at all? Nobody? Okay. That's good. Thank you so much. This workshop, this session is for you guys.